Hey everyone, Lewis, aka Spider-Man 1991 here with another graphic novel review, where today's book is The Flash by Grant Morrison and Mark Millar. This book pretty much collects the 11 issues that were written by Grant Morrison and Mark Millar, although technically the last 3 issues are only written by Mark Millar. Morrison's name does not appear on the final 3 issues, but overall it's still considered to be part of the run with both of them co-writing. Right, so basically what happens in this run is the first story has Wally West, the Flash, fighting a sentient supersuit. Yeah, that sounds a little weird, but it is Grant Morrison co-writing, so. And basically the suit is possessing people and consuming their life, and consuming the life out of whoever wears it. And unfortunately, Wally at first tries to stop the suit and destroy it. His first attempt ends with him breaking both his legs. So, in order to recoup, however, though, Wally quickly is able to figure out how to manipulate the Speed Force energy to create a new suit that will help him keep his legs in place and still be able to run and use his speed to take out the suit. And this is pretty much the point where Wally learns how to create his costume out of the Speed Force energy. Next story, Wally has an encounter with the second Mirror Master. Then the next issue, we get a one-shot story featuring a day in the life of the Golden Age Flash, Jay Garrick. Then we get a crossover with Green Lantern and Green Arrow, where Wally West, Kyle Rayner, and Connor Hawke try to enjoy some brief R&R, but their vacation is interrupted when Heatwave, Sonar, and Hatchet try to revive the supervillain Dr. Polaris. Next story arc, Wally is suddenly entered into a universal race running across all of space and time, or else Earth will be erased out of existence. And the opponent he is racing is apparently his imaginary friend as a kid, but it turns out it was his so-called imaginary friend was actually a sentient creature, part of a race of people made up of radio waves. And finally, the last story arc, which is only written by Mark Millar, Wally deals with the death of Linda Park when the Black Flash appears. So that's basically in a nutshell what the book is about. And like I said earlier, technically only the last 3 issues are only written by Mark Millar. Grant Morrison isn't credited on those, but it's still considered part of the. But he did write. But the ones before that, preceding ones, he did co-write with Morrison, so it's technically considered part of the run, which makes sense to me, and I understand why it's grouped in this collection. I really enjoyed this book. There were a lot of situations where Wally had to sort of come up with creative solutions to win the day, such as, like I said earlier, when he finally learns how to make a suit out of the Speed Force energy. And also in that whole universal race with the against the radio wave creature, he figures out that in order that he can actually get the people of Earth to run at the same time he is, and that way he can kind of tap into their kinetic energy to help boost his speed. And also, I think my favorite story arc in this collection would have to be the Black Flash story, because it showed real character growth for Wally and maturity. Because at the beginning of the story arc, Wally says he's finally going to propose to Linda, and unfortunately, when she dies, Wally just goes into a very dark depression. He decides to give up being the Flash, and his powers suddenly stop working. But ultimately, when the Black Flash starts to appear again, Wally is able to get back in the game, get his suit on, use his speed, and he's able to defeat the Black Flash. And after he does this, he decides to use his powers to go back in time, and thankfully this time he's able to save Linda from certain death. And at the end, Wally finally proposes to her. Even though Wally is awesome, I did also enjoy the one-shot Jay Garrick. I think that was a very fantastic, well-written issue. I think since Jay Garrick was the Golden Age Flash, it's kind of hard to find some Golden Age stories unless they are available digitally, or I know there is a Flash collection I know there are probably some Flash anthology collections that have those, but it's great seeing seeing a modern storytelling featuring Jay Garrick, which is very nice. Very nice. I thought they really captured the character of Jay Garrick well in that one shot. So that's another. So you don't just get a story. It's not just all stories about Wally. You also get one about Jay, which I think is very great. Overall, I would say that this run is definitely something that every Flash fan should read. And that's all I have to say about it. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for all your support with this channel, subscribing, liking the videos, everything. I'm Spider-Man 1991 saying, see you later.